Today's episode of Soccer Life Balance is coming to you from a slightly strange place, my bathroom, specifically my bathtub. Today I'm going to take an ice bath during the episode, talk a little bit about using ice baths and some other things, probably maybe even get a little delirious and talk about some other random stuff along the way. But for right now, going to throw the ice into the bath and then start the whole entire process. Now, I've been using ice baths for a few years now. I started out doing it because of my bad knee. I had a knee surgery when I was in high school, had another one later on in life. But whenever my knee would flare up, I would take an ice bath, basically because of the fact that putting a bag of ice on my knee just never seemed to hit every single spot that I wanted to get it to. The bag leaking all over the couch and everything like that. I had a tendency to like the ice bath better. And then even when I wasn't feeling any pain in my knee, I would have a tendency to take the ice baths from time to time just because I kind of liked the way that I felt afterwards. I don't do them on a regular basis per se. It's more of whenever I feel like I want to do that. Although I know that there are some really good physiological reasons for getting into the ice and everything like that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I didn't really start out for that reason. It was just to help with my knee pain, but I started to really kind of enjoy the process. I don't know if that comes off as strange. I'm delaying a little bit just so that the water can get cooled off. I had the tub filled up already with cold water, but ultimately the ice cubes are really what makes it cold. A few suggestions. If you ever do this, don't do it when you're at home alone, okay? Make sure there's somebody around who knows what you're doing so that, if you were to go into any kind of shock, then they would be able to come in and help you. Also, this is not by any stretch of the imagination me acting like I'm a doctor. Consult anybody that you feel like you need to consult with in order to get an okay to do this before you go ahead and do it. And kids especially, talk to your parents if you're a high school age person or something like that. All right, make sure that mom or dad know what you're doing. Now, for me, my wife knows what I'm doing. She thinks I'm crazy. My kids know what I'm doing. They also think I'm crazy. But I've been doing this long enough that I know the effects that it has on me personally, so that's why I like to do it. Now, in a second here, I'm going to be hopping into the ice bath. Basically, the first few seconds, minute, whatever, is a real shock to the system, and that's actually one of the benefits of doing this, shocking your system into a little bit of a fight or flight type of situation. You're going to have to fight through that whole entire thing, or relax through, depending on how you want to look at it. I'll talk a little bit more about it in just a minute. Wearing a t-shirt today because, as much as I normally do this with just a bathing suit on, this is family programming, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't offending any of our audience members. So just let me do one last thing. I've got to take a picture for my Instagram account so that I have proof of the amount of ice that was in there at the beginning. Obviously, people can watch the video. You guys are going to know exactly how long I was in there. I set the timer for 15 minutes. Under normal circumstances, I have a tendency to listen to YouTube videos or something along those lines. So it's good to get your mind, it's personally, I like it to get my mind distracted, but I'm also going to talk about that as well. So here we go, with no further delay, jumping into the ice and going to sit there for my 15-minute timer. Okay. All right, so I'm in the ice bath. It's obviously cold, big shock to the system, but breathing my way through it. Now I'm trying to talk to you guys. If every once in a while I just stop and take a few breaths, I'll be back in a second, but just be patient with me. It's a little cold. Okay. Now, first of all, big shout out to Tom Bilyeu and Impact Theory. Okay. Just recently, Tom had Wim Hof on his podcast. He's known as the Iceman. He's broken like 26 world records, most of them dealing with some form of enduring the cold. He ran a half marathon in the Arctic Circle, I believe it was, and everything like that. So that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about the ice bath today. I had a feeling, based on my own experience, that there was something more going on with regards to exposing yourself to extreme cold. And I never wanted it to be I'm such a tough guy type of thing. I'm able to sit in an ice bath for 15 minutes, so that must mean that I'm a harder man than somebody else. That's not ever the way that I wanted to look at it. I just noticed a positive effect on my body and, to a certain extent, my overall outlook on what's going on at the moment. So listening to Wim Hof talk about the process of exposing yourself to cold and his breathing methods, which I've been doing for the last week or so, have been really, really helpful. So definitely check that out. Obviously, again, do your due diligence. Make sure that you're not just, jumping into a cold ice bath just because of the fact that a few people on YouTube told you to do it. Make sure that you're doing it responsibly and, for all the right reasons, or reasons that make sense to you. Because they're not going to make sense to everybody. I'm sure there's some of you that right now that are watching this that are saying, what in the hell is wrong with this guy? He has some major issues. And that's quite all right. So I started to say, under normal circumstances, I do a little bit of a distraction thing, and I'm sure that would be totally against what Wim Hof would normally do, but it's something that's worked for me. Sitting in an ice bath for 15 minutes is obviously a little bit of mind over matter type of thing, or at least that's the way that I thought about it. So I would have a tendency to watch YouTube videos, in particular David Goggins. David Goggins' interview with Tom Bilyeu is one of the most intense talks about human ability to endure suffering. And I would watch that film or that particular video because of the fact that when you listen to David Goggins talk about all the stuff that he's done, it really makes you look at something like sitting in an ice bath for 15 minutes as almost child's play. If you've never heard of David Goggins, just type his name into YouTube. There's plenty of videos that describe his situation, but he was a Navy SEAL. He also went through the Army Ranger School and things like that. He ran a 100-mile race and broke his shins and continued doing it, pooped up his own back. There's all kinds of just awesome stories about him enduring all kinds of different things in order to get to the point where he is now. So the whole entire thing is I used to watch those videos because of the fact that it helped me take my mind away from where I was. Now, there's a possibility that that's exactly what I'm doing with this video as well. At the moment, I'm really not feeling too much in the way of cold. Now, I've only been doing the Wim Hof breathing method for, like I said, about a week. So there's a good possibility that that's actually having a good, a positive impact on my ability to endure this, because what I've found with the Wim Hof breathing is that I'm able to endure cold, because right now it's winter where I live in New Jersey. I'm able to endure cold for longer bouts, and also I've found that I am getting hot in situations where I normally wouldn't. When I wore a long sleeve shirt to work the other day, which would be standard operating procedure in the winter months, I got extremely hot by the end of the day. Now, maybe it's the breathing, maybe it's just something that I kind of noticed, maybe the heat was on a little bit higher than it normally would have been, but regardless, I definitely felt a totally different sensation about the cold and about my body over the past week. So maybe it's psychosomatic, maybe I'm making this all up in my head, but ultimately I am having some kind of effect, and it is what it is. So going back to Wim Hof and his whole entire thing, he has these breathing techniques that help you supposedly work with your autonomic nervous system and or immune system that helps you to regulate things like body temperature, your ability to stave off infections and things like that. For me, I'm not quite there yet. I don't know if I 100% buy into the stuff, but it's absolutely fascinating to me. I get fascinated by a lot of things, and again, I'll go back to Tom Bilyeu. I'll shout out his name quite a few times in this video because of the fact that his show Impact Theory and before that Inside Quest have been a really good introduction to a bunch of different ideas. David Goggins being one of them, Wim Hof being another one. I kind of found Tom because of Tim Ferriss, and that's another person that I've paid attention to over the years. So obviously we're about almost 6.5 minutes into the 15 minutes. I can be honest with you that this has actually been the easiest bath that I've ever gone through. And again, it may be the Wim Hof breathing, it may not be. Oh yeah, I'm wearing a t-shirt because of the fact that this is family programming, but my whole entire thing is Soccer Life Balance, and this t-shirt is my Soccer Karma t-shirt. Totally shameless plug. The whole entire idea behind Soccer Life Balance is to take the ideas out of soccer and apply them to life. There's all kinds of different things. Ice baths in particular don't have a lot to do with soccer. I mean, I use them to repair myself from soccer injuries or wear down or fatigue or whatever. But the breathing is something that normally when I'm sitting in the ice bath, if I'm not talking, the breathing is normally something that I focus on a lot. So that's one of the concepts. But anyway, getting back to the t-shirt real quick, purely shameless plug. I'm selling these on my website, Soccer Karma. It says on the back of every other t-shirt except for this one. This one's the original. I actually designed it myself. And if you can't see, it's little stick figure guys around the symbol for karma. And the idea is they're kicking these soccer balls around the concept of karma. And I've been saying for years to my players, if you give a good ball, you're going to get a good ball. Soccer karma. It's something that I've said hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times to different players over the years. And I think that falls under the idea of soccer life balance because of the fact that I do believe, not spiritually, not religiously, in karma, but I do believe that the world actually operates to a certain extent on people's ability to be good to one another or poor to one another, depending on which way we decide to go. So I think that karma is a very practical skill. It's something that you should definitely consider, not particularly in a religious standpoint, but if you think about it from a soccer standpoint, the more likely it is that you're going to get a good ball back if you give a good ball to somebody's feet. If you play a ball to somebody that's near their chest and they have trouble controlling it and everything like that, the chances that you're going to get a good ball back are very slim indeed. So Soccer Karma, the whole entire reason why I professed it over the years as a coach is because of the fact that if I can get people to buy into that idea, not from a selfish standpoint, but from a more practical standpoint, the idea that if I give a good ball to that person, they're going to give a good ball back to me. Or if we all believe in that concept, the possible upward ratchet, the positive life spiral of getting other people to buy into the concept of we're all in this together, so if I do my best for you, you're going to do your best for me. And if you screw up every once in a while, that's completely understandable. We're all going to screw up from time to time. But making sure that you're putting the best that you have out there so that everybody reaps the rewards of it. It's not just a selfish thing. Karma is not about, oh, I gave to you and then I should get back directly. It's more of a generalized concept, all right, that I'm going to put out into the world and hope that I get back. But the idea of putting that stuff out there continuously is the more important idea. So again, on the website, soccerlifebalance.com, in our shop, you can buy this t-shirt there if you have any interest. Basically, the t-shirts aren't a selfish thing either. This weekend, I'm actually speaking at the National Soccer Coaches Convention, United Soccer Coaches. It used to be NSCAA, the National Soccer Coaches Association of America. They changed their name a few years back, and now it's USC, United Soccer Coaches. But regardless, US Youth Soccer was nice enough to let me come and talk to the people at the convention about the idea of soccer life balance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a very basic overview of what soccer life balance is, and I'm going to introduce a few ideas. And one of them is, going back to it, and the ice bath, is the breathing. The idea of breathing is a fundamental part of not only your general well-being, because of the fact that, I often ask people, what's the most important thing that you're going to do today? And I'll get all kinds of different answers. I need to pay my mortgage. I need to do my homework if I'm talking to a student. If I need to spend quality time with my wife. No, the most important thing that each and every one of us has to do is breathe. It's so integral to our lives that we kind of don't even notice it most of the time. It goes completely under the radar. So the thing is recognizing not only that breathing is important for survival, but also it's a mechanism for improving your overall state of mind. Now again, I'm not into any religion in any particular way, I'm not a Buddhist or anything like that. But the idea of meditating has become hugely important in my life over the past few years. I know the difference between how I act when I've meditated versus how I act when I haven't. And I'll put that same type of process or idea of exercise, daily exercise. That's one of the other things that I notice instantaneously, that I'm a different person when I work out versus when I don't. So that recognition of meditation being important and just the breath work. I know a lot of people get hung up on meditation because of the fact that I'm not able to clear my mind completely and everything like that. That's not the point, or at least for me, that's not the point. The point is breathing, getting yourself to breathe and calm yourself. Allowing the thoughts that you have to come into your mind and letting them go. Maybe you focus on them for a few minutes, but you let them go. You do not have to react to every single thing that happens. You don't have to like or dislike, using social media type of thinking. You don't have to like or dislike everything, but what you do need to do is you need to be able to observe the world without judgment from time to time. And practicing that skill, and it becomes a skill. It's something that you've got to work on over time. That skill is extremely important for having a fulfilled life. So I'm going to talk about some of the key points of my idea of soccer life balance, breathing being one of them. And I've got the perfect example. If you are a soccer fan who happens to be watching this, if you look back at the video of Cristiano Ronaldo from about 25 yards out from the 2018 World Cup in Russia. From about 25 yards out, he is lining up to take a free kick. And if you watch him, or if you watch when he does one of his other free kicks, he breathes. He takes a moment to recenter by doing about 3 or 4 breaths. And that's the thing, is it's so integral and it's right under our noses, but we don't always use it. So having, kind of, I don't know if I've ruined anything, because I don't know how many people are going to watch this video before my presentation, but there's other concepts within the game of soccer that absolutely allow us to have a better life if we're willing to leverage them. Use the ideas that are kind of hidden within the game. Oops, 15 minutes is up. Use the concepts that are within the game in order to have a better life and everything like that. Now, unfortunately here, we kind of ran out of time on my 15 minutes, my 15 minutes ran out. Under normal circumstances, what I do is I dunk the rest of my body underneath the water for not any more than like a few seconds. That whole entire process, and again, the Wim Hof idea, I don't know where that's going to go in my life, whether I'm going to continue to try and go along his method of the breathing and everything like that, but I am looking at how much I've melted the ice around here, around me. So I don't know how much farther I'm going to go with the whole Wim Hof idea, the breathing exercises, the cold showers. I've been doing the cold showers for a few days now, kind of a truncated version. I don't do a full-on cold shower right from the beginning. I start off with a normal shower, and then I do the cold right at the end for about 45 seconds at varying degrees. I'm working my way up to it. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but I'm giving it a shot. So anyway, I don't know what this video is going to look like after I dunk my body under, because of the fact that the rest of my body is going to be submerged under the water. Under normal circumstances, I don't have anything on my top, so just towel off really quickly. But since I've got the shirt on, yes, Soccer Karma is a t-shirt that you can buy online at my website. But since I'm going to have this on, I don't know if that's going to be so freezing cold that I'm going to need to tear the t-shirt off really quickly. Not sure where we're going to go from this. So I apologize if I dunk under and then I feel the absolute need to tear off the t-shirt really, really quickly. I might cut that part out. So regardless, whatever happens after here, thank you so much if you watched this far. And check out soccerlifebalance.com if you're interested in soccer. Check out Impact Theory if you're interested in just general life principles. Tom Bilyeu does a really good job of just walking you through ways towards a better life, whether you're at the bottom end of the spectrum where you're desperate and you're thinking about ending your life, or you're one of those top performers who's looking to level up in some way, shape, or form. He's a really good mentor, if you will. He has a really good message, and his content, such as Neon Future, he has a comic book that just came out. He's trying to leverage our movie going and TV watching habits in order to make for a better life, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Soccer Life Balance. So sneaking the ideas of a better life under the radar, under things that people already do. So that's where we are. So again, soccerlifebalance.com, check it out if you want to, and here we go. The rest of my body's going under the water for a few seconds. And that was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. The breathing actually is doing a heck of a lot. Shout out to Wim Hof and Tom Bilyeu. Huge step up from where I used to be on that whole entire thing. I used to get under and want to jump right out afterwards and towel off. Maybe it's the social pressure of having a camera in front of me that's making me want to stick around, and you guys are making me more brave. So maybe I need to do this more often. Having people watch while I take an ice bath might be a worthwhile thing to do, regardless. So again, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you got something out of this. Start leveling yourself up. I mean, one of the reasons why I started doing this, not so much like the manliness thing again, but just I like to figure out what I'm capable of. And I think that's one of the things that guys like Wim Hof are out there in this world to show us exactly what we're capable of. David Goggins, another great example of people pushing the limits, and most people don't even scratch the limits of what they're capable of. And not that sitting in a 15-minute ice bath is really scratching the surface of my capability, but every once in a while it's a nice little test. All right, have a great day, people. I'll see you next time.